In 1597, Admiral Yi Sun-sin sat in prison.
His crime? Winning too many battles. Well, technically, his crime was disobeying orders. But really his crime was being too good at his job while other people at court were not. This is the story of how Korea's greatest military hero was betrayed, tortured, stripped of his rank, and left for dead by his own government. And then saved the entire nation anyway, with 13 ships. Let's set the scene. It's 1592, and Japan, under warlord Toyotomi Hideyoshi, decides to invade Korea. Why? Because Hideyoshi wants to conquer China, and Korea is in the way. The Japanese land with 158,000 troops. The Korean army, which has been enjoying decades of peace and hasn't really been keeping up with military training, gets absolutely steamrolled. Within weeks, the Japanese have captured Seoul and are pushing north. Korea is in full-blown crisis mode. But there's one guy who's doing just fine. Admiral Yi Sun-sin. See, while the land forces are collapsing, Yi is commanding the Korean Navy. And the Korean Navy has something the Japanese don't. Turtle ships. And Yi is really, really good at using them. He wins battle after battle. Okpo, Sachon, Hansan Island. In his first year of combat, Yi fights 23 battles and wins 23 battles. He doesn't lose a single ship. The Japanese can't supply their armies by sea, which means they're stuck on land without reinforcements. Yi single-handedly keeps Korea in the war. He's a national hero. Here's the problem with being a wildly successful military commander in a royal court. People get jealous. In 1597, a Japanese defector shows up with intelligence. The Japanese fleet is going to sail through a certain strait, and if Korea ambushes them there, they can destroy the entire fleet. Yi reads the intelligence, analyzes the situation, and says, "This is a trap." Because it obviously is. So he refuses the order. The court loses its mind. Yi's rivals, particularly a guy named Won-gyun, accuse Yi of cowardice. They tell King Seonjo that Yi is deliberately disobeying orders because he's secretly allied with the Japanese. King Seonjo, who has the political backbone of a wet noodle, believes them. Yi is arrested, dragged to Seoul in chains, tortured, and stripped of his rank. Won-gyun, the jealous guy who's been undermining Yi this whole time, is promoted to commander of the navy. Well, remember that obvious trap Yi refused to walk into? Won-gyun sails right into it. At the Battle of Chilcheonryang, the Japanese ambush the Korean fleet exactly as Yi predicted. Won-gyun loses nearly the entire navy in a single afternoon. Out of over 150 ships, only 13 survive. The court, in a blind panic, realizes they've made a tiny mistake. They need Yi Sun-sin back. So they go to Yi, who they tortured, imprisoned, and disgraced, and say, "Hey, so, funny story, we were wrong. Can you fix this?" He's given command of the 13 remaining ships. 13 ships against the entire Japanese navy. Yi's response?
I still have 14 battleships. We can fight. Wait, 14? He had 13.
One of his officers corrects him. "Sir, we have 13 ships." Yi's response? "I'm counting myself as one." October 26, 1597. Yi Sun-sin positions his 13 ships in the Myeongyang Strait. The Japanese fleet arrives. 133 warships. But Yi knows this strait. He knows the tides. He knows the currents. The Japanese charge in, and Yi's flagship is completely surrounded. And then the tide turns. Literally. The current in the strait reverses, and suddenly the Japanese ships are being pushed backward into each other. Yi's ships, which have been holding formation, surge forward. By the end of the day, Yi has destroyed or damaged 31 Japanese warships. His fleet? Still 13 ships. Yi dies in the final battle of the war. His last words were reportedly, "The battle is at its height. Do not announce my death."